Excellent. Of course, you're wondering, what's happening. We have King Faj in the house. That's his stage name. His name is Fajilo Alele. He's from Edo State, and he has opened up celebrating our unity. There is a unique unity in diversity. Welcome. It's a weekend deal. King Faj, great to have you on the show. Remember, our program is interactive. We'd love to read from you, share your experiences, tell us how we're doing, tell us what you want to see and what you want to hear. Nigeria, 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. We have a rich and vibrant brand of culture and traditional norms, and every state has its own unique representation in terms of instrument and musical rendition. That's why Francis is talking with Jerry Adeshewo, the artistic director of Abuja Royal Theatre. They're talking Nigeria. That's us. Let's see.
The Nigerian culture is shaped by Nigerians' multiple ethnic groups. The country has over 500 languages and over 250 ethnic groups. Music in the pre-colonial Nigerian society occupies a position next to local language as one of the most widely used medium of expression.
When we talk about Nigerian traditional music, I think we are basically talking about those music forms and genres that are peculiar, that are indigenous to Nigeria, that are not borrowed from other cultures, Western especially.
Earlier in history, traditional Nigerian music arose from a functional purpose, often performed to mark rituals like weddings or funerals. Agriculture was functional too, so workers in field used work songs to motivate themselves.
Southwest, we'll talk about Juju. Southwest, we talk about Fuji. Southwest, we talk about Apala. Southeast, we talk about highlife. Now, there is a little bit of an incursion by almost every segment of the country into highlife today. You also see highlife in the South, you see it in the Southwest. Some independent groups now. They play a lot of high lives, but it's more original to the Southeast. Waka, like I mentioned, it's originally a northern thing, But, with the exploit of people like Salawa Abeni and this other woman called Alaja Alake, they became exponent of that type of music. And Waka, which is the kind of music that is poetic in nature, and then a little bit of what, Dan Mariah Jaws popularized with his strings, with his traditional strings. You have music for every situation, for every aspect of life. You have music for admonition. You have music for burial. What you will call dirge. What we will call dirge. Maybe they have it in other culture, but I doubt if it will be anyhow better than you have it in Nigeria. You can imagine you are singing a dirge at a funeral, and it is not safe when people are dancing while you are supposed to be mourning. So that is the beauty of Nigeria's cultural heritage, especially when it comes to music.
The usage of traditional instruments is another aspect that makes the traditional music unique. There are different types of local instruments in each area, and each one has its own specific role.
Our traditional instrument is part of the uniqueness of the Nigerian traditional music. Because without those instruments, you cannot really say much about the music we play. For instance, let me start from the southwest. We will talk about the yailu, the talking drum. And in every musical engagement that you will see today, the talking drum is magical by its nature. So you can have such what I would call like interlude in the course of a music where the talking drummer just takes the stage, and in the next 10-15 minutes, if you allow him, he is performing wonders. The drummer is performing wonders on the talking drum, and you have the bata, you have the sakara, and then when you go to the north, you talked about the goje. So when we talk about richness, even our instrument alone, I mean, it's
Traditional Nigerian music offers a diverse and vibrant landscape that reflects the country's rich cultural heritage. Unfortunately, focus is shifting from the traditional music to borrowed culture in the name of civilization.
A Burma Boy being nominated at the global stage is credence to the infusion of Nigeria's traditional music style into his music. We have had who taught the world, who is recognized, who is loved. There needs to be a deliberateness from the agencies responsible and from the government generally to ensure that these traditional musical instruments are preserved, are researched into. Let younger people who are coming get to study them, run competitions that will make people, innovate these instruments, innovate them, make them a bit more presentable in such a way that people will like to engage with them.
The need to preserve our traditional Nigerian music from extinction cannot be overstated. Therefore, Weekend Deal today is captioned Our Rhythms and Sounds.
We got you. King Fahd, let's go.
Let's show love to one another. We're one people. It doesn't matter to us. Let's love one another. Say, please. what I want. Now I've got it, I wanna use it. Thank you for inviting me. Nigeria. I love this country so much.
Yeah.
Me, I'm not gonna run away.
Yeah.
I will stay and survive. Please, let's help our country. Let's help it to stand strong.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, King Fad. Wow. That's phenomenal. Woo. Let's love one another. Let's stay here and build. Let's collaborate, not compete. Let's share love. Let's welcome King Fad on Weekend Deal. Let's welcome him on NTA. Great to have you, King Fad. The prolific guitar virtuoso.
Yeah,
wow.
you got it.
Let's put our hands together, man. That was great.
Thank you very much.
You know, we have a unique diversity. 36 states, different cultures, different norms, different traditions. And sometimes it may slip our minds of the importance of our togetherness in spite of our diversity. We thank you for that reminder.
Thank you
And it should
very
be constantly on our minds.
Yes.
When you're strumming, it's like the music really enters deep into your soul. You forget where you are. You forget who is watching. Your own is, let me deliver. And you're doing so many songs about Nigeria.
Yes.
What motivates you?
Nigeria is one of the best the countries in the world. Everywhere I perform. Last night I was at Todmamba Cafe where they have gigs with some international
Stars.
people, and every time one of them is leaving Nigeria, they always say they cry. I begin to ask, why are you crying? They say, no, we love this country. Because in the country, what they get here, they can't get it there.
Oh.
And so I begin to think, I know very soon, the world will come to Nigeria to learn
How to play the guitar, sing and dance and dance.
Yes.
Our culture.
Yes. Because
Do you also write cultural songs? Do you sing cultural music? Do you play traditional music?
Yes.
Like Edo, do you have songs in your dialect?
Yeah.
Do you want to give us one?
Oh, you want to hear me?
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay. Give to Victor's one. Well, now, remember I said I'm from Sobe, Edo State, Onwa West Local Government. I said, we are going to we got to live with
Never say.
All over Nigeria. Sunday radio, Abaki Radio.
Never say. Nice one. King Fad, the prolific guitar virtuoso. That's superb. That's so superb. You know that we are celebrating our cultural sounds, our rhythm, our drum beats over here. But are you planning, or have you had opportunity to also take our unique cultural sounds outside our shows? Do you go outside Nigeria to perform? What is the experience like if you have been there?
No, the system here is not actually helping.
Okay.
That's why you can't control the youth now there, because they took it by force.
Okay.
Nobody they gave them the chance.
Okay.
There was no platform but for anybody to rise up there.
Okay.
In those days, if you said you want to play music, your mother will just start decrying. She will just cry, "Oh, my son is going astray." But now, fathers and mothers take their children to studio.
Yes.
Pay the producer, pay for the promotion.
Help them to record.
Yes,
song
they call you guys and say, please
help my child. Wow.
Yeah,
to put these beats together.
Yes.
People now see music and entertainment
And so
as
I
something
bet
remarkable.
the government, they should try and do something about the music industry.
To help the youths, yes. Okay. Nope, it's interesting because we want more musicians to collaborate and celebrate our cultural music as sound, because they are so novel, rather than compete. Interesting one there. But guess what, King Fahd, we're going to Lagos. And in Lagos, we have entertainers, some of them, who have role modeled their music style after the late Fela Anikulapo Kuti. In fact, there's one that plays an instrument called the trombone.
Yeah.
The other one also plays the sax.
Yes.
They are young people, and they'll share their experiences with us. And you will see how it relates to what you're saying. Let's go to Lagos.
Music is an art of sound in time that expresses ideas and emotions in significant forms through the elements of rhythm, melody, harmony, and color. Music, as we all know, is food to the soul. There are different genres of music, one of which is Afrobeat, and that is our focus. It is a music genre that combines West African music with diasporal funk and jazz. Afrobeat originated from the late legendary musician Fela Anikulapo Kuti. It was then passed down to some of his children, Femi and Seun Kuti. Some other artists have also carved a niche for themselves in this genre of music over the years, which has now made it global. It is no longer meet some Afrobeat artists who will take us through their musical journey, their inspirations, aspirations, influences, and challenges.
My journey of music
for a while now. It is therefore safe to say that it is here to stay for an even longer while, as music is no respect of tribe, religion, culture, and color.
King Faj is there. We got him. He's doing us something slow, something from the rock music.
When she's walking through the cloud with her circle's mind that's running wild. Butterflies and zebras, moonbeams, fairy tale, that's all it is. Ride away the wind. When I'm sad, she will come to me with her 1,000 smiles. She gives to me free. It's alright, she said, it's alright. You can take anything you want from me. Anything, anything. When I'm sad, she will come to me with 1,000 smiles. She gets to me free. Butterflies and zebras, moonbeams, fairy tale. Ride away the wind.
You know, I can't play an instrument to save my life, but I admire people who are doing it. You know, it's a gift.
Yeah.
And because it runs in your family, I wonder, does any of your children play an instrument?
Yes, my eldest daughter, she plays guitar.
Interesting.
Yes, and the two other ones, they're all singers too.
Wow. So, you know, we're talking about proteges now,
Yeah.
and legacies we're leaving. So, you know, as you are entrenching yourself in Nigeria, Africa, and the world, the thing is that somebody is role modeling themselves after you. And it's exceptional when it's coming from the family.
Exactly.
I know you are insisting they go to school first, but when they're done with school, what would you like them to do in terms of their own music?
No, like I said earlier, the music runs in the family. And so you can't even run away. It's not even possible. And as part of that, I have a school of music. I teach younger people.
Interesting. How to play the instrument?
Yes, all instruments. It's in Abuja here. So.
And it's something you tend to do for quite a bit.
Yes.
You know, we would love to see perhaps someday in the future, King Faj here, his daughter, you know, supporting her with her guitar, and your other two daughters giving us their gig, you know, giving us the lyrics,
Yes.
you know, to be phenomenal indeed.
Cool.
So if you've not been considering it, you know, next time we want to see you, that's what we want to say.
Okay.
So just a few seconds, we'll be telling you thank you for keeping our company all weekend, though.
Right.
So what's the next number you want to do for us, you know, celebrating Nigeria, celebrating contemporary music, encouraging young entertainers to go for it, and also celebrating those who have come before you?
The sky is filled with glowing stars, with the light of the moon. The brightest light is in your eyes. Lift up that cloud so I can fly. Open your door and let the sun shine. You got me so blind I can't see. Hey, I wanna write your name in the sky.
That's right.
Then maybe one day you will be my Nigeria.
That's right.
You will be my before time. You will be my before time. I asked for water and you gave me a river. Asked for flowers, you gave me butterfly. I asked for an angel and God gave it to me. So we can fly with the weekend hill.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. You got it.
Then maybe one day you will be mine. Yeah. You will be my before now. Nigeria. You will be my before now.
Thank you. Let's give it up for King Fahd. Wow. That's the way to go, man. Great one. Great rendition. Great instrument play. I love the way you're tapping or clicking those strings. You know, it touched us. It touched us. You know, we love what you did. We love what you do.
Wow.
We celebrate you.
Wow.
Yeah, King Fahd, the prolific guitar virtuoso.
Thank you.
Yeah, great to have you
Thank you,
on
man.
Weekend.
Thank you very
and
much.
next time we want to see you, like I said, we want to see your daughters. One of them
That
holding
is
her
good, man.
guitar. Yeah, next time. It's not tomorrow. So go plan for it. 'Cause we'll be having you right back here. We want to see them. We want to see
You
what,
daughters
your
listening.
legacy. Yeah,
Work hard,
great.
so we are coming to the station.
Yes, I would love to welcome you. Thank you. Thank you for
very
coming.
much.
Thank you for coming. You're watching Weekend Deal. Well, Ijoma has been focusing on instruments, and she talks about the Oja and how traditional music has evolved into the sophisticated contemporary play that we have today. Ijoma, please share.
The traditional dances of Nigerian people has evolved, shifting from what we used to know as local music and dances to a more sophisticated expression of contemporary music.
Been a shift. In those days, our traditional music were just limited to maybe our local ceremonies, maybe a traditional naming ceremony, a traditional wedding, just local events. But these days, you find that the traditional music has made incursions into even modern music, into contemporary music. So there has been that growth, so to speak, you know, in the use of our traditional music.
This evolution has not only occurred in the rhythms, but also in the artistic approach expressed in the colorful costumes and the making of musical instruments, which resonates creative ingenuity of Nigerian people and her culture.
The visual arts and the performing arts, they are married, they are together. Your costuming is a work of visual art and it contributes to the performance. The musical instruments, the designs on your drums, the motifs say something. They are not just art for art's sake. Even when it is still meant to serve a purpose, even if it's just aesthetics, you know, even if it's just to beautify. But in some instances, it's not even just for the beautification, because you know some of these instruments or some of these art forms have some spiritual backgrounds. So you find that those motifs actually say something. You could see a drum now. When you see the design on it, it tells you where it's coming from. It tells you the kind of worship those people do. It tells you a lot about the people.
This is the sound of Oja, a traditional flute carved with wood and artistically used in a typical Igbo festival to invoke the spirit of the gods and men. Oja is not the only traditional musical instrument used in Nigeria's traditional music. Other instruments like the talking drums, the alligator, metal gongs, and others have found their way into Nigeria's present-day music productions. An expression that echoes the importance for Africa and indeed Nigerians to return back to their roots in music making.
A lot of contemporary artists have discovered that they need to go back to these roots. They need to go back. They use traditional songs. They incorporate them into their music. When you watch their videos, you see traditional dances. They've discovered that, look, you cannot be more American than the Americans. So you cannot be selling what is American to the Americans. It doesn't make sense. What you can sell to them is your own, who you are.
Nigerian traditional dance is appreciated all over the world. But beyond the appreciation is the call to become intentional with the commercialization of this cultural heritage of ours and sell it to the world.
It won't be a bad idea to have the national tour, for instance. Take a section of Europe, for instance, and go on a tour. Now, the government can package it with promoters out there, so it's even a commercial thing. You can make money from it because other people do it. You can encourage state art councils to also do same.
The chairman of NTA Abuja there, Kayode Ayegbese, sharing his ideas with Ijoma and of course with the world. Collaboration, we say, let us blend the old, our rich traditional norms and cultures with what the younger generation is bringing. A fine blend will give us a superb entrance on the global stage. We're already making entrance and waves. We can be more intentional. Your working weekend deal. Thank you for your messages. They are coming in. In a short while, we'll begin to take them. For now, let's go to Kano. Talk of the Shantu, we talk of the Kalangu. Some say it's also the talking drum, is the Akpala. But let's hear from them.
The rhythm is very much appealing, while the message contained is captivating. People of wisdom say music is the food of the soul because it wipes out tears and sorrows. Kalangu, Shantu, and Kidan Korea are some of the long-standing Hausa traditional musical instruments that project the socio-cultural values of Hausa natives.
In one of the traditional festives of Hausa girls, or in one of the traditional readings in Hausa, this is Kachichi Kachichi, there is a question they normally ask that Najiyo Kukan Kawata, that I heard the sound of my sister or my friend. The answer is Kalangu. This indicates the mutual relationship, the non-separable nature of literature and culture.
Sound produced by Kalangu or Kidan Korea contains messages that targets particular audience.
When you go to our traditional communities, like now during this festive occasion, when you go to the markets, when you go to the town squares, every household, every traditional craft has its own kind of music. Whenever my Kalangu or the person that is operating Kalangu beats that his drum Kalangu, the person spoken to will naturally know.
These instruments are skillfully played in a unique manner that makes them produce distinct sound, pleasing to the mind.
You normally beat Kalangu with a kind of stick created like a hammer.
Umari tamban
In spite of its significance in promoting the culture and values of Hausa-speaking people, Kalangu and Kidan Kwarya are gradually phasing out and losing prominence.
Yes, you're watching Weekend Deal. We have the bag, a pipe, a major. Thank you. Please have your seats. Welcome to Weekend Deal. We'll not be engaging them now. That's a pipe major Chukwoba Kalu, and someone accompanied him. We'll get to talk. Sylvester is also here. We'll have a chat with them later. For now, Oyo beckons. Let's go see what they have for us.
Art and music are basic human functions. People have always found music significant in their lives, whether for enjoyment, emotional response, performance, and so on. It has power to change moods and add sense of relief to the life of people. It is said that one can gain answers to unresolved questions in the mind via music.
For people who are in broadcasting, yes, there are some artistic things that they have within them, and art is just one. Once you have art in you, then as a broadcaster you can still discover that yes, you can still go into performance.
Nigerian musicians are making waves globally in the industry with the likes of Wizkid, Davido, Afrobeat, Juju, Fuji, and most recently Afropop music, which have given the music industry a new look.
Understanding the dynamics of music is a very important key into performance. You just think, because for instance, a guitarist, if a guitarist plays pam pam da 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 da, and 10 different guitarists play the same music, you as a good performer, you should be able to, those 10 people, that they will play it better than themselves.
The reason behind this fact is that we learn a song fast because of its music. The likes of Dr. Yinka Ayefele was able to cross from broadcasting to music, going by his knowledge in the broadcasting field. And there are so many other musicians who has done so well in their genre of music. Does this trend have any negative effect on the music industry?
No, the beats and styles of music are not the same. The beats and styles, it depends. There are some music that when you have to reduce the tempo. There are three things: the tempo of the music, the style of music, and even the key that you are the particular key that you're supposed to sing into determines how the music will enter into your crowd.
Either it is for enjoyment, therapeutic, or emotional support. It is no doubt that music will continue to be the food of the soul.
You're watching Weekend. We came back from Oyo State where we saw the king himself on the stage talking about King Sunny Ade. Of course, he's renowned locally and internationally. We've seen collaborations with him and we know of him. Earlier on, you saw a pipe major, Chukwu Oba Kalu and Sylvester, bagpipe in to our studio. Welcome. Chukwuoba, great to have you. Sylvester, nice to have you on Weekend. When we say pipe major, what are we talking about?
The anchor person for a pipe band.
Interesting.
For a pipe band. That's
and of course, your kit is unique. We don't see this every day.
Thank you.
It is how you go about on the daily?
That's the identity. Not on daily basis, occasionally.
This is for the pipe. This is for the bagpipe.
Yes, this is an identity, common identity for a bagpiper or the bagpipers.
Nice one. I know you've been in Nigeria for 15 years, but let's go back to yesterday. As we watched the coronation of King Charles III, we saw people dressed like you. We had sounds of instruments just like what you perform now. Were you there just yesterday?
Not actually. I wasn't there. Well, I'm familiar with the event that was done, and I do know that bagpipe music will play a prominent role in that event, just like it was done when the late Queen Elizabeth II, was the funeral.
Her crowning and funeral as well.
Yeah. They have always played prominent role in Buckingham Palace.
Interesting. And now you are taking center stage in Nigeria. Tell us about the bagpipe and its incursion into Nigeria entertainment and music scene 15 years ago.
I wouldn't want to say 15 years ago. Let me start by saying that I am seeking a revival and return of bagpipe music back to Africa, Nigeria, and then Africa. The origin of this particular brand of music is also African, not just Scotland.
Interesting.
Yes, way back before 1500. I have a small instrument I have with me here. This is what we call the chanter.
The chanter.
And this chanter is the ancestor of all bagpipes that has been played in the world. There are different kinds of bagpipes in the world, but the most prominent is the one we call GHB, the Great Highland Bagpipe, which the Scottish people promoted so much.
And made the world think that bagpiping was theirs.
Yes, they made the world think, but not just about that, because they played a very significant role towards the sustenance of this instrument. But not for them, it wouldn't have been able to exist. It would have died out. Because I remember in 1745, when the instrument was classified as an instrument of war, before the Jacobite Rising, it was classified as an instrument of war and it was banned. It was the effort of the Scottish people that made it to come back, and since then it's been on and on. So, but why I say this, I seek the revival of this back to Africa and Nigeria is because this is the ancestor of all bagpipes that we have in the world. In Nigeria, for instance, I saw a clip, of a sound coming from the eastern part of Nigeria.
The
Oja. Oja is this chanter. That is also an ancestor of the bagpipe. If you go to the northern part of the country, you will see the flute-like instrument they call kakaki. Kakaki is also an ancestor of the bagpipe.
Interesting. So many ancestors.
So many
interesting stories.
Because they are all the same with this. They are chanters.
And in that same package where you saw the Oja being celebrated, we also heard our colleagues say we should be intentional about what we play and intentional about the delivery and the message we pass on to people. Sure. So perhaps she's aligning with your mission.
Sure. I was smiling when I heard that.
Well, like she was speaking to you personally.
It was as if she was speaking to me personally. I got I was excited because it gives me joy seeing that this is returning back to.
Perhaps it never actually left.
It didn't actually leave. What happened was that the innovations that took place in Scotland did not happen here. This is a chanter that you play to your cheek muscles. Well, the innovation that came was actually fitting a bag into it, so that you leave the regular, the conventional pattern of using your cheek muscles to play, to inflating air into a bag. Just like we played, the balloon we use in decorations.
Yeah.
At some point, we left using the cheek muscle to play the balloon, and we have now balloon pumping machines. So leaving that primitive stage to where you have a bag fitted into it, and then putting air into the bag. That's why we call it the bagpipe.
Okay, interesting.
So what I have here is actually there in the pipe.
So the ancestor is here.
It's there.
Okay, the ancestor is here.
Yes, that's what we call the chanter there.
Use the chanter.
That's the chanter. Exactly what I have here with me.
Okay.
And that's why I say that the Oja is also the ancestor. The Kakaki is the ancestor.
So Sylvester uses his cheek muscles?
No longer using the cheek muscle, because the bag is doing the work.
He's doing the work.
What he does is
Such
to
a
put
powerful
it
sound.
When we play Scotland the Brave for a Scottish man, his spirit rises.
Interesting.
He gets gingered. Same thing happens in the East. When you play Oja, you see the person's
spirits
rising. The same thing in the North. So that's exactly what it is.
So we're seeing a rising of spirits today, because our ancestral lineage is present in this studio right now.
Sure.
I'm rising. Sylvester is rising. Chukwuka is rising.
Sure.
It's interesting. Let us have a bit of that rendition again. But when we return, just perform a bit, then tell us maybe at events where people can have the privilege of listening to the bagpipe.
Okay. I will request that he plays an indigenous song, which we call Iyanowura, the pride of a woman.
Indeed.
Even though there are so many songs, but he could play the Iyanowura.
Okay.
But
let's go. Wow. Thank you, Sylvester. Please have your seat. Well, we wouldn't mind to be on our feet as he performed.
Sure. You don't sit to play the pipe.
Okay, no, but we who are listening, we can sit and enjoy.
Okay. But we do have other songs also that we play in events like funeral events. We also have done things like events like investiture, award giving, so Optimist International events, Danger of Insignia, we have always been there. And we do also play for wedding events.
The song of choice will suit the occasion.
Sure.
But of course, the ancestral instruments remain the same.
Sure. Then the song comes in based on the type of event that you are playing. But prominently, you see this pipe coming more often during funerals.
Interesting.
And, during funerals and ceremonial events like weddings.
Interesting.
Weddings and all that.
You are trying to bring back something that never left, but perhaps died down a little. The prominence was reduced. You're trying to bring it again to the fore.
Sure.
How's the journey been? You are going nationwide? You're going Africa-wide?
Yes.
You're going worldwide?
Not worldwide, yes. Still, it still sounds strange to some people when they see this. Probably see the outfit. Some people will smile and say,
some kids will run. That sound is so powerful.
Yeah, it's an evocative sound, which is not common. Anyway, it travels up to 7 miles from where it's been played. We're in a studio. In an open, it goes as far as 7 miles away.
Perhaps the idea is to wake up the spirits.
Not only the spirit. People talk about spirits so much. the idea is to, motivate you. I prefer the word motivating.
It's a powerful, strong organ.
Yes.
Sound, loud sound.
If you want, you can say that it's similar to that of the pipe organs in the church.
Indeed. Indeed.
So it makes, we attend to all kinds of events, but most prominently weddings, funerals, parties, and all that.
It's an interesting journey that is still ongoing.
Yeah.
Perhaps there will come a time when more of our young children will come close to this instrument.
Sure.
I want to know more. But for now, are young children interested?
Sure. Virtually all the places.
Master the art?
Virtually all the places we have gone to do performances, young people are interested.
The cohesion, the vibrance, the vitality, the lyrics of our rhythms and sounds are just phenomenal. And anywhere we go in the country, we become excited, enthusiastic. We keep raising the bar and upping the game. We say, well done, Nigeria. I'm talking with Pipe Major, Chukwuba, and Sylvester. And they've brought to the fore the ancestral instrument. It did not leave us, but is reviving it. It never did die, but it wants to make it more prominent. And we're talking about being intentional about all we do from this point on. Pipe Major, tell me now about our dressing. You were talking about this is relatable to the oja and the flute, but this dressing is not ours. Why don't we keep the kilt and the waistcoat, but can we do it in our own traditional fabrics and material?
Okay, you see, this is tartan. This fabric is tartan, one of the oldest materials that existed in the world. And it is not far-fetched from what we had. For instance, if you go to the east again, we have the war dancers. They wear a wraparound, which is a fabric knitted fabric, not a printed fabric. A wraparound. When civilization hadn't come, there was nothing like machines to sew. It's simply historic, showing that before the likes of sewed materials came, there was nothing to sew. It's a wraparound. It's a wraparound. So the war dancers in the east do also wear wraparound when they dance.
We like the wraparound. We like the style. We see the color. And this doesn't tell of Nigeria's history.
It does.
The color,
yes,
the design.
Yes. For instance, again, I don't know why I'm going back to the east. We have materials we call George that comes in different colorations, check-like designs in different colorations, which is a reflection of glance as it is in Scotland, which is not far away from what we have.
Yeah, it's not far away, but it's not it. It's not far, but it's not it.
The color is the difference.
Yes.
The color is the difference.
We're talking about intentionality. If we're going to export ours, you are saying this instrument is ancestral. Nigeria holds claim to some of the instruments that the Scottish people have made more prominent because over time we stopped being intentional about their usage. I'm talking about our clothing now. If we have what looks like it, why don't we clothe ourselves in ours?
Sure.
Because we have the clothes also tell of the history, and it enlivens what we do, and then we export it. We now take it out there to the world.
Sure, you are correct, because this is more like a costume.
Yeah.
Which can come in different forms and variations.
But then we want to see you wearing the Nigerian one. If we have what looks like it, let's get our own. Let's wear our own. As you play the instrument that is ours, even though it's relatable internationally, let us see our own fabric, even though it's relatable with this. Since we have what is like it, and we have a fabric that tells our history, let us clothe ourselves in it.
Sure. I'm sure we'll get to that.
Okay.
For instance, in Benue State, the TVs and the domas,
they're beautiful.
You do know they have fabrics knitted, which is just like this.
Yeah.
Knitted fabrics in red and white and black and white colors.
Yeah.
That's also part of this. We could also use it to make it.
We would love to see you in it.
Sure. We had also attended events where we reflected that.
Great.
In our costume. We had also done events where we also wore the core our own type of costumes.
Okay,
we are using this because worldwide, this is the common identity of bagpipers.
Interesting. But so when I saw you, I was thinking you just landed in Nigeria from the United Kingdom, where you went to be part of the coronation of King Charles III. Because this looks so much like what they were wearing yesterday.
This is actually a clan home of Queen Elizabeth late.
Yes.
The Royal Stewart Tartan.
Interesting.
Yes,
we saw them yesterday.
Yes.
Doing
so that's
stuff
what
like this.
We adopted it because of the popularity of it in the world.
But now you are gaining prominence in Nigeria. Let us be intentional in our clothing. And that's how we're journeying down deeper into our rich cultural heritage and our pride. That is what we are coming from, what our ancestors have celebrated, and what we are urging our contemporary entertainers to imbibe and inculcate and share and export. Yes, Thames, Wizkid and Burna Boy have brought home the Grammys. We are saying we can do more if we collaborate rather than compete. God bless Nigeria. From all of us here, it's bye-bye.